Here's the story from The Atlantic. The arrest that demonstrates Europe's free speech problem. The absurd detention of the comedy writer Graham Linehan underscores a deeper issue. When even The Atlantic is writing about a comedian getting arrested, The Atlantic is not conservative. You know that the UK has something seriously wrong with it. The Atlantic says, the Irish comedy writer Graham Linehan was once known for his charming, sometimes surreal sitcoms, Father Ted, Black Books, The IT Crowd on British TV. These days, however, he is better known for his online crusade against transgender activism. His X-feed takes the same approach as libs of TikTok, cherry-picking videos of criminals and fetishists in a full-scale assault on gender ideology. Can you just stop and say okay to those critiques? They're valid, you know, and we're fine with the most trans people who are minding their own business and aren't trying to go into the other bathroom and like take pictures of little girls. Okay. Just accept that Graham and J.K. Rowling have points that are valid, and so does libs of TikTok. They can't do it, can they? He is obsessive and offensive, but he's a criminal. The British police seem to think so. Linehan was arrested by 5 armed officers today on his return from the United States. Now, here's what gets interesting. Mike Benz makes a really great point. It's an international incident. Graham Linehan made these tweets in the United States, not in the UK, but he was arrested when he landed there. Now, this is a problem for the US. Would I or anyone else be arrested if we go to the UK? You know, I got to be honest. I'd actually argue yes. We've already seen that there have been British police saying they want to extradite Americans, and it is insane. So we're going to, I believe we've got Tommy Robinson lined up. Sometimes these things change, you know, how it goes. We're on a live show. Let's see. 1, 2. All right. There we go. That should fix the audio. Hopefully that works. Let's get it rolling. Takes a second to boot up. It is currently booting up. Let me make sure we've got everything correct on our end. And not quite there yet. Looks like it's trying. Let me refresh this. One more time. All right, let's hit it. Looks like we are having... There we go. We got Tommy. Hey, how's it going, man?
Me, yeah?
Tommy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tim. How are you, bro?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Busy. It's good.
I can imagine. This is a crazy story. It's not the only story we've heard, but, Graham Linehan getting arrested over tweets he made in the United States. So obviously the state of the UK is constantly in question, especially here in the United States. I got to ask you first, though. I mean, what happened with you? I mean, you got arrested. They've been coming at you. How are you doing? Are you all right? I'm
all right. I get arrested all the time, don't I, Tim? So,
that's horrifying.
I don't actually know which one you're talking about.
Right.
Because recently I was arrested. You may have seen the incident at St Pancras train station where I was in a situation and a man was left, and there was a video that went viral, and it was me walking there, and there was a man that was unconscious on the floor. Now, when I was arrested and detained for that, when we watched the CCTV, it proved that he harassed me, confronted me, attacked me. I defended myself, so I haven't been criminally charged. They've released me without charge. But when they detained me for that, they detained me and arrested me for 3 tweets. Listen to this. The tweets that they arrested me for, one of them was sharing a Daily Mail news article. Now, the Daily Mail have protection because they are a recognised media source. So they don't get prosecuted. But I was arrested criminally under caution and interviewed. They're waiting to see if they're charging me for sharing a newspaper's article.
Wow.
Because they said, what accreditations do you have as a journalist? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And I was looking, thinking, and one of the tweets, this is how they done it. So I shared a story from a year before. Yeah, it was a year before. It was a newspaper article that said no English children in the whole of this school. Yeah, English was not spoken as a first language. Well, when I shared it, they then said, now a year later, there is English speaking children. I'm like, so that's misinformation. It's like, and that was free. So I was arrested for free. But with Graham, what's happened with him? He's landed at an airport. Police with machine guns, if I'm right, have arrested him for 3 tweets. And this is all now. I remember, I've seen Nigel Farage talking currently now, which is great. highlighting the free speech issue in America's Congress, and he mentions that Britain is North Korea. When I was imprisoned and went to court 6 years ago for asking a question outside a courtroom, I asked some Pakistani rapists, they'd raped 100 children. As they walked into court, I said, "How do you feel about your verdict?" I was arrested. I got a 13-month prison sentence. And when I walked into court, my T-shirt said, "Britain equals North Korea." It had the British flag and it said equals North Korea, because we've been here for a very long time, Tim. I know now people are seeing it, they're understanding it, and they're understanding it because Graham Lynham he's not a working class kid. He's not a controversial figure. He's a famous comedian.
Yeah.
He's a famous comedian. So it's a sad state of affairs. It's also good though that people get to see. I think, so
there were a couple of videos I just saw recently. One where there's like an 11-year-old child wearing with the English flag, and the police are harassing, saying, you know, it's offensive, and yelling at the mother. I saw another video where a man at a rally tried to shake the hand of a police officer. I don't know if you saw this one. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that's my good friend. That's Liam Tufts. And do you know what? Because if you watch it in its singular on its own, but what you have to understand is that the British public, we've watched the police take pictures with people dressed up as Hamas fighters. We've watched the police get on their knees and bend their knees. We've watched them dancing with high heels on at pride parades. So we've seen the politicization of the police force. So when my friend went to shake his hand, that's Liam Tufts, the police officer was very rude. You don't see his reaction, first of all, on camera. He was very rude, snubbed. "I'm not shaking your hand." Yeah. Now, Liam was thanking him. Yeah. Liam was saying, "Thank you, mate." Now, this is the truth. If a Muslim or a black individual had put their hand out to that police officer, 100% he'd have shook their hand. 100%. But the fear is in the police officer. When he says we can't be political, it's like, no, what you mean is you can't shake an English man's hand at an event that's patriotic. You can shake. And that's not every police officer, because I'm going to hold my hands up. The police shake my hands. Yeah, the police shake my hands. But the politicization of our police force, which we've seen, and that video, Liam was angry, and justifiably angry, because of the way we've seen the police pander to every other ideology and wave every other flag. And you're seeing now, you've seen the Raise the Flags campaign spread across our country. There's not one roundabout you can go to. I swear to God, Tim, if you understand how big this is, there's not one location you can go to anywhere where you don't see the Union flag or the St. George's flag. Now, considering 2 months ago, there was no Union flags or St. George's flags. There was none anywhere. And the problem why, again, we're frustrated, the council are taking them down. They didn't take the Palestinian flags down. In fact, there was a gentleman who come out in East London, and I know his wife, she was terminally ill, and he come out and all Palestinian flags have been put all across his estate. And he said, "What is this shit?" or something like that. He got dawn raided by police the next day.
Wow.
The police come in his house. He's 60 years old. They dawn raided him for having a negative opinion of the Palestinian flag. He never got charged. But what this is about, more so, whether Graham faces prosecution or not, it's about instilling fear in the rest of the general public. Yeah. It's about making people that they're not free to exercise their speech because they're too scared to. And that atmosphere of fear has been spread for decades now. And people in Britain, we know, I don't know if America's quite grasped where we're at as a nation. I don't know if how severe this problem is.
Well, how severe is it? I mean, we've seen the stories of a woman who, posts on Facebook, goes to prison, things like that.
Well, she got 31 months for a tweet. She got 31 months for a tweet.
It's insane.
Yeah? An illegal immigrant this week raped a disabled woman and he got 14 months. Yeah. Mainly paedophiles, groomers. Another Muslim raped a 13-year-old girl. He didn't even get a custodial sentence. A groomer in Newcastle didn't get a custodial sentence. But she got 31 months. Now, again, we have to understand why this is being done. Yeah. When she got 31 months, she was a mother. She had a daughter and a husband, law-abiding, never been in trouble in her life. Peter Lynch was a grandfather, never been in trouble in his life. He was in prison at the same time as her during the riots in Southport. He went on a demonstration and he held up a placard that had nothing controversial, facts about the government failures. And he said to the police, "I pray for my children." He got 2 years in jail. Yeah?
For saying I pray for my children?
I pray for my children. Because what the government done was they categorised all the protests as riots. And then they arrested everyone and they remanded them. So they remanded everybody. So no one got bail. Yeah. No one got bail. So they remanded them straight into prison. So Lucy Connolly was then told, this is why she pled guilty, and this is where it was it was an operation, a state operation. She pled guilty because she was told if she doesn't plead guilty, she'll spend a year waiting on remand anyway. So she'll sit in jail for a year.
Wow.
Yeah? If she pleads guilty, she'll get out. She pleads guilty, 31 months.
Wow.
Another lad waved his English flag. They done exactly the same to him. Do you know what they done to him? They had him, and he's got a newborn baby, and they had his missus who were at the demonstration. And they said, "Is that your missus?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you want us to arrest her? Because we can arrest her. She's present at the same thing. Plead guilty." He pleads guilty.
Wow.
So then, and the purpose of this, which, as I say, it was a state operation, and you can tell it was an operation because the media, they were at a demonstration on Saturday. They were arrested on Saturday. They were given prison sentences on the Monday. They were in prison on the Monday. And when they kicked their doors off the next day, they videoed it for the news cameras. And then when they sentenced them, the judges were on TV giving the sentences, drilling it down. All of this was with the intention, and that's unheard of in this country. It takes a year or 2 years to get to court, yeah? But they done everyone within 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And then they sentenced them all to jail. And the purpose of that was to terrify the British public. Keep your mouth shut, sit down, shut up. Migrants can rate their way. 25 children have been sexually abused and raped by migrants just in hotels. 9 women have been raped. They are convictions, yeah? Now, 90% of rape cases don't even go to court. So how many British women are being raped? Migrants have left hotels and committed terrorist attacks.
Well, now there's that viral meme of the young girl with the axe and the machete. Is that what she was holding?
The Scottish girl.
Scottish.
And now they're trying to make her the criminal and him the victim. He's the victim now. He's the victim. The migrant's the victim. That young child they're trying to make, and this is what they've done. This is nothing new again, because the children were the ones that were criminalised when they were 12 and 13. The police would turn up. I'll give you an example. There was a case in Rotherham, and there's 5 Muslim men, 5 or 6, and they're in a abandoned home, yeah, a derelict house, and they're sexually abusing and raping a 12-year-old child. The police turned up. They arrested the child for being drunk and disorderly. They let the men go. Tim, I know this sounds unreal. This is not my opinion. This is in reports and studies, and this is factual. Come out of government investigations now. So the police left them.
Many Americans don't understand the distinction between England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. When you say Rotherham, this is English.
Rotherham's an English town. Rotherham's an English town, Tim. So because the whole free speech issue you're seeing now, the attack on free speech, it's all coordinated in order to shut everyone up. Because if we speak and exercise our free speech, we can highlight the government failures and policy failures of what they're doing. Mass immigration, whether it be transgenderism, all of these things, the indoctrination of children. If the public can speak about it, then the rest of the public can be awakened and realise, look what they're doing. Look what's happening. Do
you think you're winning?
Oh, we're winning now, Tim. Like there. And just so people understand, for 2 decades at least, I've been banging my head against the wall for 15 years, yeah, on these issues. And I've been attacked, silenced, demonised, slandered. Again, a totalitarian state uses the judiciary and it uses the media. And both of these are weapons of the establishment to attack, and they politicise them. Now, that's happened to us for years. And I was seen as a hated individual because the public at one time bought their lies. What we've seen, and it's not just to do with, obviously, my journalism has helped. Elon Musk giving us Buying X, giving us a platform, all of my documentaries. But what's helped? COVID helped. During the COVID pandemic, people saw the lies in the media. It made them question more and more. October 7th, unfortunately for Israel, unfortunately for the victims, it's helped because we saw the hatred. We saw the scale of the problem in the Western nations. We saw the way the police let them call for jihad. Whilst, again, I don't know if you saw this week, a British woman, a councillor, hung the British flag in Epping. Now, Epping is Epping's been the protests outside the migrant hotels because Epping is an area called in Essex. Now, you have East London. East London's now become majority Muslim. All the English, the white flight, they've all fled and they've moved to places like Epping, which are lovely English areas. Then they're there and they put 200 migrants in the hotel.
Wow.
Now, a girl was walking to school, 14 years old, 13 years old. She gets sexually assaulted from the migrant, telling her he's going to have a baby with her. He grabs her and sexually assaults her. The community are all protesting outside the hotel. At the same time, another migrant leaves the hotel and he lets himself into an old pensioner's home. Then the pensioner's daughter comes out and chases him, and the pensioner's daughter's been arrested, and she's facing prosecution. He hasn't been arrested. Yeah, he hasn't been arrested. Now, then the community, they went to court to try and get the migrants removed, just in this one hotel. Then someone with a camera went round the back of the hotel and started filming through the window what the migrants are watching. They're watching beheading videos on their phone. And then as he flicks through the beheading videos, they then got pictures of him with machine guns. These are the men that are now in the hotels, yeah? So the community go to court and they have and they challenge it. And the judge rules that the Home Office, the government, have to remove the migrants for the community safety.
Wow.
The government, the Labour government, then take it to the High Court and appeal the decision. And then in the court, the barrister, paid for with taxpayers' money on behalf of the British government, goes to court and says the migrants' rights outweigh the community's rights. And the judge says yes. So then they've now forced 200 migrants to stay in the hotel. The next night, the councillor who wants them out of the hotel to support her community, a lady called Sarah, she hangs her Union Jack over outside the council building. 6 officers manhandle her, throw her to the floor. She's never been in trouble in her life. She's a mother of 3 children. She spends 24 hours in police custody. Now, bearing in mind, again, if we live in a police state, which we do, but it's not a police state for everybody. We know that because we saw that after October 7th, we literally saw terrorist organisations, his but here, standing in front of hundreds in the streets, demanding jihad. And when they stood and said jihad, 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 the Metropolitan Police Force put out a statement saying there's lots of different meanings for jihad.
Oh,
They
man.
defended them.
You know,
So, yeah.
I watched V for Vendetta the other day. Well, you've seen that movie, I imagine, right?
I've seen that movie, yeah.
It's been a while, but I was watching it and it hits so different in the modern context because for those who are not familiar, the movie takes place in a totalitarian England that is nationalistic, religious, anti-Islamist, and the evil fingermen in the government are all, right-wing or whatever. And then you take a look at what's actually going on with the arrest for speech and the fear, and it's like, oh, that's all leftist stuff. It's like the right are the ones who are actually getting arrested for saying they love their country. So it's just kind of crazy what people thought 20 years ago versus where you actually went. I do think media influences people's expectations, how they vote, which ends up creating a fear of the right. Now, it's probably intentional, but I digress. You do think that you are winning. That was basically the premise here.
But the premise is, if you look at what's happened, I would say, Tim, and I'm not exaggerating here, the shift in public opinion in the last 18 months, I don't think it's ever happened in not my generation or probably the previous generation. Something huge is happening in Britain, something massive. And you'll see this, Tim, on September 13th. I actually believe more than 1 million are about to descend on our capital city. Yeah, a great British revolt is underway. And the difference is people who were silenced because of the fear of being arrested, they're not fearful anymore. Now, the reason that they locked Lucy Connolly in jail was to put fear into all the other English mothers. Shut up. The reason they gave me an 18-month prison sentence for a film, even though they knew the public saw the film, so 167 million people saw the film, so they know that the whole world knows I told the truth. They don't care about the bad press. The message they're sending is, we do what we want. And if we want to put him on solitary confinement, even we don't care if politicians and the whole world's moaning, we will do that. Yeah. So that's what they've done to me. Peter Lynch was murdered by the state. He killed himself. The grandfather who prayed for his thing, he didn't come out of jail because they threw him to the Muslim gangs in jail. Wow. He was so scared he hung himself. Yeah. And they've done all this to put fear into the British public. Each decision they've made has just backfired. They have underestimated the British spirit. And people, I've lived for the whole of my life listening to people say, when Britain wakes up, when the lion wakes up. I swear to God, Tim, the lion is awake, man. And everyone and the world's going to see it. I swear to God. And do you know what? It's organic. Usually groups like us or me, we're organising these protests outside hotels. We don't have to. The women at the end of the street are coming out of their houses. This organically across the whole country, something's happening. Something massive is happening. Everywhere I walk, I can see it. It's so, I just don't, and you know what? This isn't just Britain. The whole of the West has been under attack. We've had an onslaught against Christianity, identity, culture. We're made to feel, and now we feel like foreigners in our own country, and it can't be allowed to happen. So right now, I believe, and I sit here quite confident, the scenes you're going to see on September 13th, I hope are going to inspire every Western nation that this is the point. The line in the sand is here. It's been drawn. London is the battleground for free speech, for migration, remigration, all of it. London is, and I hope the British public understand this, the moment we're in, because I've waited a long time for this, and I can see it now. I just keep saying to lads, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening, man. It's what we've waited for. It's happening, and that's a hard thing because there's so much anger out there, Tim, and it's justified anger. Women are being raped, children are being raped. You see all these videos. I actually believe right now, in the last 7 days, the decision on Epping, the police reaction in these towns and cities, are beating people up, arresting women, attacking children. The videos you're talking about, I believe they're trying to provoke us into a violent reaction. I believe the government know this. They know the scale of what's coming on September 13th, and they want it to descend into anarchy. Well, we're aware of that. We know that. I've held over 100 demonstrations. I know what they've done. You know what they've done on January 6th? We have an organisation. We used to have an organisation called the Special Demonstration Squad. Google them. Google the Special Demonstration Squad. That is a government agency who infiltrate legitimate protest groups, and they infiltrate them to cause disruption and bring violence, to discredit. So literally, again, the state operation is send people in wearing masks, covered up, which is what happened in the riots. Send people in, set fires, smash things up, cause anarchy, and then the media, they do that, and then they send it to the world. They send it across the whole country. We're aware of that. No one is wearing a face covering on our demonstration. No one. If you come with a face covering, we're taking it off you. Yeah, you'll be asked politely, and after that, you'll be made to leave.
Wow.
And the best thing is that we have a coordination. Because people want to criticise against the football supporters. Yeah. Well, football supporters and groups of men, the best thing is it used to just be football supporters and lads. Mate, it's gone way past that. Everyone's mums are coming. Their kids are coming. This is going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be huge. But the difference is football men are organised and they're disciplined. Yeah. And those men, and they're tough men. They're not going to allow people to cause anarchy. Yeah. No one can contemplate for every second in case the police do. I'm going to put an appeal to the police. But our relationship with the Metropolitan Police Force has changed over the last 24 months. The police were purposely, their reputation's been dragged through the gutter. But in our last 4 demonstrations, we had 30,000 people, no trouble. 100,000 people, no trouble. 200,000 people, no trouble. Yeah? No trouble. In fact, we thank the police at the end of it. Because I believe the police have purposely been put at loggerheads against us by the tactics the senior ranking officers have used. And they can only... Yeah.
I want to ask you, you mentioned all over the West, and there was a big story that came out yesterday with a little bit more this morning. 7 AFD politicians dead within, a few days up to this election. So for those that aren't familiar, this is Alternative for Germany. It is the populist right-wing party. The media lies, they call it far right, but it's actually the top polling political party in Germany. 7 politicians dead. And I'm just going to tell you, this is not a coincidence. I'm not playing this coincidence game. They haven't, for 4 of these individuals, they haven't released the cause of death. And the narrative that we've heard is natural causes, but it doesn't seem plausible. Do you think that this is the extreme reaction from the machine saying no to the people who want to fight for their countries?
Tim, if it wasn't for X and it wasn't for alternative platforms like yourself and others like us, would anyone even know that 7 are dead?
Right.
That's the reality. Would anyone even know? Would anyone even know? We wouldn't know. So these discussions are now being had. But remember, up until 2 years ago, when Trump won the election in 2016, they took back power, through censorship and through control and through big tech. They totally took back power. They censored conservative voices. They deplatformed us. They erased us. I was invisible. Couldn't even mention my name on Facebook. In that period there, they had total control. Right now, they've lost control. They've absolutely lost control. Yeah. Because simply of Elon Musk and the American population voting for Trump. They lost control. And now we're seeing desperation from them. Desperation. So I wouldn't put anything past them. They've tried to outlaw already. They want to outlaw AFD. 21% of the German vote. They want to outlaw it. All based on lies. Now I'm looking forward to the fact Peter Bryson, who's an MP from the AFD. He's speaking at our event on the 13th of September. Now, what's changed? At our event on the 13th of September, the support come from Jordan Peterson, confirming originally that he's talking. He was one of the first people to confirm. We have Katie Hopkins, Eva Vlanderbroek from Holland, but we also have representatives from the AFD, Peter Bryson. We have the leader of the Danish People's Party, Morten Messerschmidt, the leader of Vlaams Belang from Belgium, Philippe de Winter. We have Eric Zemmour from France. We have politicians coming from across Europe to stand in Britain. The problem is with the political class in the UK, they are so out of touch. And we can even talk about Reform as the so-called populist party. I believe there's going to be 1 million people. Yeah, this has never happened before. There's 650 members of parliament in our House of Parliament. But not one of them is coming.
Wow.
Not one. Not one. That's the detachment. That is the detachment. Now, when Keir Starmer got voted in, the Labour communist tyrant got voted in on 9 million votes. 20 million people didn't vote. He got voted in on 9 million. He hasn't got a mandate. It's not like Donald Trump's mandate. He's got him. It's not like it. So 20 million people didn't vote. Now, what we sat down, I don't know if you're aware of this, Tim, we sat down 2 years ago. We come up with a name, United Kingdom, and we sat down. It was myself, Carl Benjamin, Lawrence Fox, Mayor Toomy. We brought Katie Hopkins, Jordan Peterson flew in. We had lots of influencers, and we had a vision and a plan. And the vision and the plan was, if we change the culture, you change the politics. How do we change the culture? Well, let's look at, and the meeting was about, it's like getting every influencer in Britain who's got any influence, yeah, who's outside of the mainstream, get them together and agree to work together to defend British culture, to defend free speech, stand against sexual exploitation of minors, stand against indoctrination LGBTQ+, yeah, so we agree on these principles. And if we agree on those principles, if anyone steps out of line with them politically, yeah, so if there's, and we wanted to, so the idea was to build a cultural movement, have a cultural revolution in Britain, because it's not been cool to be British. You see, waving the flag, what you're seeing now, kids are doing it everywhere. That hasn't happened for decades. I'll tell you what become cool. The Palestinian flag. What becomes celebrated? That's what they were, Islam. Everyone was converted. Even you look at the people who converted to Islam. It's because it become fashionable and cool.
Yep.
So we said, we need to make it cool to be British. We need to make our identity celebrated again. We need to have fun. Yeah. So we had this meeting and we spoke about it, said, got us all together. We spent days together saying, how do we work on this? We spent weeks and months going backward and forward to come up with an idea of simple points that we can work together on. And then we could bring in boxers, celebrities, all to just agree to these points. Now, I made this very public, what we were doing. And then we had our first event, 30,000. Then we had our second event, 100,000 people turned up. We had a party in central London. Yeah, it was great. Everyone, we gave people back what they've taken. Everyone who come there felt camaraderie. We felt like a community. They've destroyed our community. They've destroyed the family. They've made all of us feel like we're on our own. We're isolated. We're weak. When we're not. The power is with the people. And on that day, everyone stood there. And I got the moment, Tim. I went to Poland in 2015 and 250,000 people marched. And I stood at the front of it. And I felt the hairs on my neck standing up. I felt the power. I felt it, yeah? And then I understood it. And I felt jealous because we don't have that. In Britain, it's gone. And then on the 27th of July, I stood there and I felt it. And I thought, this is what they don't want. Unity. If we can unify everyone, and when I say everyone, Tim, I mean everyone, yeah? Because we've had a lot of migrants that have come to this country who love this nation, yeah? And the diversity of our crowd would terrify the establishment. They've wanted us to be an exclusively white group of working class, poverty-stricken young men, angry young men. That's what they've wanted us to be. Well, we've gone straight through that. We've reached people in their homes, and everyone went away having a great day. 28th of July, I travelled to the border. I'm nicked under terrorism.
Wow.
I'm on terrorism. I'm charged under Terrorism Act. And you know what? I'm arrested. So you want to talk about free speech? The problem I have is Nigel Farage is currently in Congress and he's talking about free speech. When I was arrested under the Terrorism Act, and when they arrested me, they said, don't worry, Tommy, we know you're not involved in terrorism, but this legislation allows us to do this.
Wow.
Now, what this legislation allows them to do, for 6 hours, they can question you. If you do not answer, and if you answer untruthfully, yeah, they can prosecute you under the Terrorism Act. So your right to remain silent is gone. So they sat me down for 6 hours. Do you know what they questioned me about? Who's organising your event? Who funded it? How are you doing? Every question
They're scared.
was about my legal, lawful operation. I'm a journalist.
So let's we're just about out of time though. But this event you have coming up, just quick elevator pitch for about 30 seconds. What's going on?
Elevator pitch. The world needs to watch London, September 13th. What's going on? We have celebrities, but we're going to have fun. We have comedians. We have music. We have everything that's quintessentially British. Yeah. But we are going to send the biggest to the British establishment. I keep saying it's David versus Goliath, and at each one of these, we've took another step towards them. And they are going to be sitting there watching and worrying because we are unifying Britain. And this is just the next step. We have more plans for further on. But I'd say to people, watch, because Britain is awake. You know, so many people have watched. In America, you're watching thinking, well, how are the British allowing this?
Yeah.
I agree with you. How have we allowed it? Yeah. But you'll see on September 13th that Britain is awake.
Right on, Tommy. It's been great having you and explaining all this to us. The Graham Linehan story. Even the Atlantic is saying they've gone too far arresting comedians for jokes. So I think something is happening. I look forward to watching what happens. Where can people find you?
You can watch it live on my X. You can watch it live on my YouTube channel, Tommy Robinson Official. Just you'll see it. The scenes are going to go everywhere. Yeah. Thanks for reporting on it, Tim, as well. Lisa's over. Is she over here reporting them for you? Lisa's coming to it.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah. Send a camera. Get it over.
All right, we'll do it, man.
There's people coming from everywhere, man.
Sounds good.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks for joining us and explaining it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, bro.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
And, of course, Tommy Robinson, the man himself. It's going to be interesting. 13th, huh? You know, he fills me with optimism. I'm not super optimistic on what's going on in the UK. I got a decent amount of optimism for here in the United States. I am concerned about population issues. You guys know that one. But, man, Tommy can really light that fire. So I'm excited. If the UK can turn this around with everything we've seen, I think that's a great sign for us moving forward. The AFD stuff is scary. But, my friends, smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Russell Brand is going live now, and we will be sending you on your way to go hang out with him. You can follow me on X and Instagram at TimCast. Got a new Rumble channel. The interview I said was going to be up at the Culture War channel because now there's a new Rumble Tim pool, which, I don't know, cultural commentary and social issues, more evergreen, less news related. And yesterday I commented on capitalism, anti-capitalism, and Patrick McDavid. And today I'm going to be talking about migrants and scammers and what's happening with migration in Europe. So that's youtube.com/TimPool. Let me launch this raid for Russell Brand. And once again, join our Discord server at timcast.com. Get involved in the community. We want you guys to come together, make friends, share these ideas, because that's what Tommy was saying. If we change the culture, we change the politics. That's why we're working on our clubhouse, working on our coffee shops. We just hired a new guy. We're getting these physical locations set up. It's happening. The ball is rolling. It's a heavy lift. But the first thing you can do, join timcast.com, Discord server. Follow me on X and Instagram. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all in the next segment and at Timcast IRL tonight, 8 p.m.